Hope everybody had an excellent Mother's Day weekend. Welcome to Monday's edition of Big Blue Kickoff Live, presented by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Football Giants. I am John Schmelk, joined by Paul Dottino. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Hope everyone had a great Mother's Day. Congratulations to Pearson on his big milestone over the weekend. And we're going to talk some Giants football with you today. Rookie minicamp over the weekend. We'll get to that in a second. Also, the Giants announcing their 100th season celebration today as well. We'll get into all that entails and more, and we'll get to your calls at 201-939-4513. So, Paul, we talked a lot about rookie minicamp on Friday.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a whole lot to add from what happened on Saturday, except for the fact we did hear from the Giants' 3 other draft picks who we had not seen or heard from in person yet. Mm-hmm. And, well, all 3 guys just seem like wonderful kids. Like, they're excited. They're smiling. I mean, they should be. They're happy to be here. But I just thought it was kind of fun listening to them, talking to them. Theo Johnson talked a lot about, we'll start with there, I guess, Paul, about how he really thinks he has a long ways to grow still and has a lot of potential here in that Giants tight end room.
Well, I think he realizes what we've all said since he got drafted here, and that is Penn State's offense was very limiting in terms of what he was allowed to do. I think he knows that. I mean, if he didn't know it, he certainly has heard it from everybody outside. And no one's ever going to criticize either their college scheme or their college teammates or their quarterback, for that matter, while they're in college. But I think he's aware that this is going to be a breath of fresh air now that he's here, and he's got a team that's much more willing to throw the ball and to get it downfield and is going to make use of his skills in a better way. I think Daniel Bellinger, in some ways, he sounded like Bellinger in that when Bellinger got here, the same thing. He felt he was going to be better off here. He never dissed his college program.
Of course.
But he did say he felt there was a lot more to offer. And he was looking forward to this team untapping some of that potential. So in that way, I sense the similarity. Is that fair?
Yeah, fair. Then you had Tyrone Tracy, spoke to the media, talked about how he's always kind of felt more comfortable at running back. Mm-hmm. That's what he played in high school. We talked about that when the Giants drafted him. Not a lot of tread off the tires, and he's excited to get going here, and he thinks he can be a factor in the run game and on kickoff return.
Well, hey, I'm glad he talked about kickoff return because we've discussed that ourselves, and that's the quickest way for him to get on the field. So God bless him. I love the fact that he's ripping and ready to go.
All right, and then finally, Paul, we heard from the Giants' 6th-round linebacker out of UCLA, and, boy, that kid I want to sit down and have lunch with that guy. He just seems such like a positive individual. He talked about his links to the Giants special teams coach, and he's just really excited to get going here. And I think it's funny, he had his winter cap on because he's like, it's so cold here. It's like 50 degrees outside. So good luck in December and January, Mr. Musau. But it was fun to get to know him, and I thought it was he just seems like he's going to be a sponge. He's super excited to be here. He's got a great personality, and looking forward to what he can do on special teams.
Looking at him on the field when they got here to begin their practice session on Friday, you see him looking like he belongs. From the very beginning, when they were doing even the positional drills, he was the one guy in the linebacker group who really seemed very assertive and like, okay, I got this already. He is a bit smaller, only about 6 feet tall, John. You notice it right away. He's not,
and we knew that going in.
We knew.
Based on his measurements.
We knew what the measurements were, and when we saw him on the practice field Friday, you could see he was absolutely more of the shorter, diminutive type linebacker. I mean, there have been guys who have made it, though, in the league. Sam Mills is the one that always comes to mind. It's not an automatic like, you have to be. But his measurements, you clearly see why the measurements are what they are. He is smaller. You understand why there are some teams that probably wouldn't have even put him on their board because they have certain measurement requirements.
Yep.
I get that, but he's thick enough, and he certainly looked the part when he was out there with the rest of the rookies on Friday.
And now the rookies will have a week here in Phase 2 with the veterans to be in meetings, figure things out, do calisthenics outside, do some individual work, weight room stuff, meetings, and then next week the organized team activities, the OTA start, and that's when they could start doing more focused on field work with the coaching staff and doing competition stuff, offense, defense, still no contact. We're not going to have that till you get to training camp.
No.
But, we'll see something that looks a little bit closer to real football starting next week with the first OTA, I believe, being on Monday. So that should be exciting.
Yeah, they did sign one guy. We should probably mention that. Chapman came in, known as the baby bison. Elijah Chapman, a defensive tackle, who, it's funny when you watch his tape, he has a motor, a real hot motor. He's a 3-technique defensive tackle, 6 feet. They list him at 272. Did not necessarily have big numbers in school, okay? Just did not. But he's extremely quick for his size. And look, obviously, when you watch the clips, he gets after it. He is a nonstop effort machine. And this is an example of a kid who had some interesting things on tape. They thought enough of him to invite him to the rookie camp. They see him at the rookie camp, and they're like, you know what? Yeah, we think we need a little bit more of a look at this kid. And there's a great example. I believe he was the only one who reportedly agreed to terms. His agent said that they had agreed. I don't know if the Giants actually released it, John, but his agent said that he had agreed to terms with the Giants. There's an example of somebody who is a long shot, but makes the most of his opportunity, and now at least he may have earned himself a chance to get a second look.
There's some bison in the cafeteria today.
There is.
Did you indulge?
I had...
in honor of Mr. Chapman?
I had chicken and salad.
I think you should try the bison.
Not happening.
It's not a bison burger, which I know you've had bad experiences with.
Not happening.
It's just basically, it looks like steak.
Not happening.
All right. I don't think there'd be much to add on rookie minicamp.
You got a better chance of me rooting for the Pacers, okay?
Wow. Okay.
Okay. There you go.
I don't know if I believe that, but that's okay. Anything else on rookie minicamp before we
No, that's it.
slide on?
That's it.
All right. We have a full bank of calls, folks, and we'll get to you in a second at 201-939-4513. But today was a big day in the office. A lot of people put a lot of work into this. The Giants announcing their 100th season celebration. And I'll get this question out of the way quickly first. The Giants' first season was 1925. 2025 would be their 101st season.
Correct.
2024 would be their 100th season because 2025 counts as one. So for people that are saying, wait a second, it's not 100 years, it's 99 years. No, since 2020, the 1925 season counts as season 1, the 100th season is in fact 2024. So before we get complaints about people complaining about that, just want to make sure people understand that. So
simple math, John.
Yeah, so the Giants, you can go to the Giants Twitter handle and all that stuff, giants.com/100 as well. They have all the information on there in terms of what the Giants are doing. I'll give some of the, top angle stuff here real quickly. So they released the logo. There's a lot of details with the logo. Again, you can go to the Giants Twitter account to kind of explain it. The zeros are the shape of Giants Stadium. They have different things representing different parts of the Giants history. There's a cool video up there that our group did a great job putting together. We're going to basically be celebrating this thing all year round. This is not just like, all right, this week we're celebrating it and it's going. No, this is going to be an all year long celebration. Stuff in the community. There's going to be a lot of stuff that fans can purchase via retail as well. And a lot of content coming your way too. One thing that has already launched, you can go check it out. It's basically Giant fans will get a chance to vote for the greatest play in Giants history. You can go to Giants.com, go to the greatest play bracket, and you can set your votes for it. You could find a podcast for each one of the 4 brackets. It's basically 64 plays, and then you have 4 16 teams brackets. Each bracket will be a week for people to vote. Bob Pop and I do a podcast on each one of the 4 brackets talking about the play, so you can go check that out. It's on Giants.com, the Giants app. It's also on the Giants Huddle podcast feed as well if you want to go check that out. A couple other announcements. NFL Films is going to do a documentary called The Duke on the life of Wellington Mara, one of the founding fathers of not just the Giants, but the National Football League. So that'll be cool. June 20th.
Well, his dad was.
Yes, correct. The family is one of the founding families of the National Football League. Let me correct myself. You're correct. On June 20th, the Giants will host Giants 100 A Night with Legends, presented by Verizon at the theater at Madison Square Garden. Tickets will go on sale on Thursday, so make sure everyone goes check that out. Season ticket holders will have a little bit of a earlier window to get tickets, but it'll get open to the public on Thursday, May 16th at 10 a.m. On Ticketmaster.com. All the benefits will benefit the Giants Foundation in that situation, by the way. You'll have a bunch of Giant legends there: Bill Parcells, Tom Coughlin, Eli Manning, Harry Carson, Hall of Famers, you name it. It's going to be a great event. If you folks want to go, again, tickets go on sale. If you're not a season ticket holder, Thursday, May 16th at 10 a.m. Tuesday, May 14th, 10 a.m. for season ticket members. So make sure you go check that out. The Giants will also be announcing the top 100 players in Giants history. A blue ribbon panel was put together with people unaffiliated with the organization. Those are people that have either covered the team over the years or historians. Some fans got involved as well.
Hence why I could not vote, by the way. Just so you know, folks.
Nobody voted. I didn't vote. Bob Papa didn't vote. The Maras didn't vote. Nobody in the organization voted for this. Bob did a good job putting it together, even though he did not vote. We also, last week, one of the reasons I wasn't here a couple days last week, including Monday, is that we recorded our podcast series where we interviewed a bunch of players in the top 100 list. Those will start getting released in July when we start unveiling who the top 100 are. So that's going to be a 10-part podcast video series announcing who the top 100 players in Giants history is. So, and that's presented by Bud Light. So a lot of really cool stuff coming your way. We're going to have more announcements later in the week with other cool stuff that I know fans have been anticipating and excited about. So we're going to have different announcements throughout this week as we celebrate the Giants' 100th season. And again, this celebration will continue throughout the summer, into the season, throughout the weeks. We'll do special stuff each week. There's a special collaborative day with the Yankees because the Giants did spend a lot of time playing their football games at Yankee Stadium. I want to make sure I have it right. 18 years at Yankee Stadium. So on August 4th, when the Yankees host the Blue Jays, you're going to have 18,000 fans getting Eli Manning bobblehead doll. So, trophy, figurine, whatever you want to call it. Bobblehead. Yeah, figurine, doll, whatever.
I believe it's a bobblehead, and I think Eli has a football in it. I think he's throwing a football.
Well, it makes sense. That's what he did.
Yes.
He threw footballs.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I believe I hit everything. I think that's all the stuff that we have. Oh, the 100th book. We have a 100th season anniversary book coming out as well. That'll be available in September. You can find that at the Giants.com shop and all that other stuff as well. So that's everything. And we'll have more stuff coming out throughout the week. The Giants will be doing at least 100 events in the community this year to commemorate 100 seasons. The Giants Foundation will have over $1 million worth of donations to different charities as well. So it'll be a lot of good stuff coming your way if you want to talk about that. And maybe tomorrow, Paul, we can, since we still have a whole lot going on yet, maybe we can dive into that first 16-team bracket for the greatest plays in Giants history. We can have some fun with that tomorrow.
Okay.
Anything to add, Mr. Giants history historian guy?
No, it's all on the release. I think you folks who, if you hadn't seen it yet, if you haven't gone on the website, there is a really special computerized CGI graphics video that was put together for the logo that came out.
It's computerized. That's the technical term, by the way, just for the record.
CGI is not computerized?
No. Just go ahead. I'm just making a joke. I've never heard it say all videos are technically computerized because they're edited on a computer.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever.
No, I don't.
In any case, it's very, very, very well done, and I applaud our IT department and our computer graphics department.
Production department, not our IT department.
They didn't have anything technically to do with all the machinations that make that happen?
The IT department? No.
Okay. Well,
our IT department does other stuff that's really good. But no, they had nothing to do with the making of the video.
In any event, I know our graphics people were certainly involved in it too. And Doug Murphy is in charge of our graphics upstairs. And I just think that it's really, really cool. I will tell you, I had not seen it until it came out this morning. I knew what it was going to be. I just didn't see it. So when I first looked at it, I was like, man, that is really, really cool. And that is cool. That's my comment on the whole thing.
And I think fans are going to like a lot of the stuff that's coming out here as the Giants celebrate their 100th season. I think it's the fourth team that's celebrating their 100th season. You had the Lions, the Bears, and the Cardinals.
That sounds right.
I believe were the other
and
three.
The Packers.
Packers too.
So Packers too. You're right. Thank you, Pierce. I knew there was one more. So, yeah, we're the fifth. So, it's good stuff.
Yeah. And if you didn't
It'll be a fun season.
Yeah, and that 100th season patch will be on the left shoulder blade. And as I had posted this morning, the Giants have only done that twice before. They did it for their 70th. I'm sorry, for their 80th season and for their 90th season. This is the third time now they will have a patch on their uniforms commemorating a season.
Yeah, they've had other patches before, but none of their
there have been memoriam. There have been memoriam patches. There have been Super Bowl patches
for Mr. Tish and Mr. Mara. Right.
Mm-hmm. There have been captaincy patches.
Yep.
There have been league patches. Okay, where the league asks teams to wear certain patches for certain things. But in terms of commemorating a certain year, the Giants did it for the 80th, the 90th, and now they're doing it for the 100th.
Yep, absolutely. And the Giants are grateful for the unwavering support throughout the history from their fans, community, and their corporate partners. And again, for more information on the Giants' 100th season, please visit giants.com/100. 201-939-4513. And guys, if you guys, by the way, if you're at home and you want to go through the bracket and you want to kind of get our take on some of these plays, only 16 are up there now. But again, each week moving forward, you'll have 16 more. Then we'll have our final four. And I think we can guess what some of the plays are going to be that are going to be in that final four. But we will get there, and let us hear your vote. Go in there, and guys, vote. It's here for the fans to vote. The fans are going to decide. So make sure you go check that out. 201-939-4513. And I mentioned to folks that podcast up on the bracket challenge is up right now on the Giants 100 bracket. It's there, the greatest plays bracket. Let me get that right. It's the Giants' greatest plays bracket. It is up there. Make sure you go check that out. It's presented by Hackensack Meridian Health. Just make sure you go check it out, and it is there, giants.com/100. And, of course, that's where all the information is for that. And you can find the Giants Huddle podcast in the Giants app. Just search for Giants Huddle podcast or go to your favorite podcast platform. And we'll roll out, these podcasts once a week here. We're going to have more podcasts as we go on the 100 throughout the year. There's going to be a lot of good stuff, good content. And for you guys that appreciate Giants history, I'm sure you will enjoy it. All right, 201-939-4513. Let's start with Ron in New Jersey. He's up first here. Ron, what's going on?
Hey, guys. Good to talk to you.
What's up?
So first I have a sort of a hyper-local question, so forgive me for that. But I'm a long-time season ticket holder.
That's okay.
In the West Club.
What's up?
Well, I'm finally going to break down this year and go to a practice. Get invited constantly to go. What do you think of that? What advice do you have to make the experience as good as it can be?
Well, I have never attended a Giants training camp practice here as a fan, so it's hard for me to really tell you what, any good advice. I would just say get here early, because it's a first come, first serving for the seats.
Yeah.
And when you go, and the tickets for the practices for over the summer usually sell pretty quickly. So keep an eye out when they.
Something. Like as a West Club member, I guess at least they claim that, like, here, you have this seat, you have to claim it within 24 hours.
Oh, great. Okay, good. So okay,
yeah.
That's awesome. So that makes it a little bit easier for you. So I'm sure they'll have a specific practice that in training camp practice you'll get access to. My advice would be to just get there early because. And then you want to figure out which field they're practicing on, and that's going to determine where you're going to want to sit in the bleachers.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. When you get here, first thing you want to do is ask the security guards, if they know, they may not know, I can't say for sure, which of the fields. There are 3 fields that they will practice on. One and 2 are side by side, closest to the building. Number 3 is perpendicular, and that's furthest from the building, from the training center.
It's not in the bubble. It's not.
No. If they're in the bubble, that's the other thing you need to remember.
Oh yeah.
On the day that you're coming, if it rains and they've got to go in the bubble, practice is closed to the public because for safety reasons they can't let the crowd in the bubble.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
In the field house. So that's the other thing you got to remember.
That's a good one.
But yeah, so it's absolutely important if you're going to want to come and see something. If you can get a gauge as to what field they're going to be on, security would probably be able to tell you that morning, and that's the set of bleachers you want to go to.
Okay, great. All right, I have a fun one and a semi-recommendation, I guess.
Sure.
So I started watching The Dynasty last night on Apple about the Patriots.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I have not watched it yet, Ron. It is on my list.
I did not watch it either.
You will both like it. I got through 3 episodes. But anyway, this is why I was calling. So after they win their 3rd Super Bowl in 4 years, someone on the field is holding up a newspaper and it says Dynasty. And I turned to my wife and said, I remember Paul Dottino holding up the Bergen Record saying Giants win. I can't remember. I assume it was the first Patriot game or the second. Or am I crazy, Paul?
After the 2007 game, or that Super Bowl 42, I was working at the time. My other job at night was at the Bergen Record in the sports department. I was assigned to go to the game with a stack of Giants win newspaper fronts. And part of my job, I was working with ESPN Radio at the time. I had not only had to get post-game interviews, okay, but I also had to pass out these Giants win newspaper pages. And yes, one of the things that I did when the game was over, I rushed the field, got a bunch of player interviews on the field, which were incredible. And then I also passed out all these fake fronts that had Giants win on it. And yes, I believe that wound up going viral all over the place. Some people saw me do it. Other people didn't see me do it. The one that you're talking about is I think it's online everywhere. I believe Zach Diassi has it, and it says Giants win. And that's the front that I
feel
passed
like
out.
I've seen one with O'Hara having it in his hands too, or maybe Deal.
O'Hara has one. I'm not sure if the O'Hara one might be after 2011. I was already gone from the paper then.
No, O'Hara wasn't on the 2011.
No. So you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. So that's right. Was it Deal?
Are you keeping that under lock and key? Are you jinx? Like you're worried about it? That's got to be.
Well, you know
right?
the truth. No.
I never heard this story before. I'm interested.
I didn't want to jinx it. Okay, I didn't want to jinx it. But the paper part of the thing was, see, I had to always get time off from my other job at the paper at night to be able to go on any road trips. So I had to promise them that I would pass out these fake Giants fronts if they won the game. It was the only way that I could get off for the whole week to go out and cover the Super Bowl.
Did they ship them to you out there? Is that how it worked?
No. I had.
They had them that early when you flew out.
Here's what happened. I went out there, and the day before, the morning of the game, I'm sorry, one of our other writers gave me the stack. Okay, because they had FedExed them out to the hotels.
Yeah. So they did ship them to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
it was on newspaper, regular newspaper.
Yes,
right?
it was It's a regular newspaper front. Everybody does it now. This was new for the time. I was basically a pioneer because nobody had really done this before. Okay.
Pioneer.
Well,
nobody.
I was going to say guinea pig.
Now
That's what I thought he was going to go into. I thought it was a guinea pig.
Well, here's the reason why.
Test subject.
Here's the reason why. I had told them I thought I could pull it off.
Was this your idea or was this their idea?
It was kind of both.
Okay.
They thought about printing up the page, and I told them I was extra aggressive, and I said, "Look, I will run out onto the field, and I will pass them out, and if I can't, I'll pass them out in the locker room, and one way or the other, I'll get them to all the guys." And this way, the paper would be happy because they got the publicity, and also they allowed me to go out there for the week. I mean, so this was a twofold thing. Well, you
were on the field for the game.
No. I was in the
field.
I was in the auxiliary press area up in the third deck in the corner where Randy Moss caught the touchdown when Corey Webster fell. Right. As soon as the last Tom Brady play when they lost, remember they had the two bombs and okay.
Yep.
As soon as I was standing at the tunnel of that section. As soon as Tom Brady, they missed the incomplete, game is over, okay? Now I'm sprinting with a huge stack of newspapers, plus my ESPN mic and my recorder. I'm sprinting down to the stairs because the elevator, at that point, I couldn't get in the elevator. I had to run down 3 levels of stadium.
With the fans, probably, right?
Oh, I was like O.J. Simpson to an airport.
After the 2011 Super Bowl, I had to run down to do interviews for the post-game show, and you run with the fans.
Okay.
It's chaos.
So I was cutting through everybody. I'm carrying all this stuff. I finally get downstairs. I had my credential, of course, so I got down to the basement level of the stadium. Now, as I'm going around, I had to, unfortunately, go all the way around the stadium to get to where the Giants locker room was because I knew the Giants people would be down there, and that would be the best chance for me to pass out the stuff. Well, I had to pass the Patriots locker room. And I
Did
was
you have a photographer with you following you?
no, I had nobody with me. This was a one-man show. I mean, I was like James Bond on a one-man mission.
Now, Ron, you understand, like, they try to have people work with Paul, but everyone just refuses, and that's just the way it generally goes.
But here's the best part. Here's the best part. And I'm going to say this now, okay?
Okay.
I was not supposed to be allowed on the field, okay? My credential was for
safe.
my credential was for the locker room, for the auxiliary press box, for the post-game press conferences. I did not have field access,
Not
okay?
even post-game?
I did not have field access.
That's not stopping a guy from New Jersey. Come
Nobody's stopping me, man. It ain't happening. Are you kidding me? Giants just won a Super Bowl, and I'm not getting on the field? Fat chance.
Yeah, good luck that happening now, by
Okay.
the way, with the way
Well,
security's been increased since then.
It took
Good
that
luck.
different then.
That's a good
Yes.
point.
Different then. So,
Well, anyway,
so
that's a
I
great
ran
story.
I literally ran through a bunch of Patriots walking into their locker room. I ran through them, got to the Giants locker room, saw the equipment guys, saw the security guys. Hey, I'm going to go out onto the field. I got to pass these things out.
Right.
Here, have some. I passed out to them. And then I literally sprinted out through the tunnel from where the Giants tunnel was onto the field, and nobody stopped me. And I ran right out onto the field, and that's where I got to the players, and I started passing them out to the players, did a bunch of interviews. Guys were crying during my interviews. It was absolutely incredible. ESPN Network in Bristol aired my stuff. They said it was better than anything they had ever heard because it was fresh on the field. It was awesome. It was awesome.
That's an iconic picture too. That's great. Thanks for sharing that.
All right, there you go.
And now the untold part of the story is that Paul's also shipped a stack of Patriots win papers, and those found their
Absolutely
ways
not.
into a dumpster, and they were lit on fire before the game even started.
But you know, here's what's funny about it. After that Super Bowl, every single major newspaper in every potential championship situation started printing those, because what they found out was, because I passed those out and they got so much publicity and got on TV in so many different places.
No, it's great
got
advertising.
the advertising was worth millions.
Of course.
And the marketing people of all the different cities now that were participating in championships decided that they would have to do fake fronts too. So now everybody does it in every sport. I was like the first guy to do it.
Congratulations to the Bergen Record IT department for getting that done. I'm just kidding. Ron, you got anything else for us?
Anyway, there you go.
Ron's gone. 201-939-4513. Great story. I love that. That was good. I never heard that one before.
I'm just glad I didn't get tased or bitten by the dogs, because they were there. Oh, they were there, and I outran them all
Well, nobody actually was chasing you, though.
before they could figure it out. I was gone.
Tan blur
Exactly.
in Arizona.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go to James in Georgia. James, you're up next on Big Blue Kickoff Live. What's up, James?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Loving the show.
Yep.
I actually was just, while I was listening to the story, great story, I just Googled, some of those images, and Tumor had a paper that said champs on it.
There it is.
Like, did you have one that said champs or the one that said Giants win?
Giants
Or
win
two
is
of
the
them?
Giants
one.
win is the one that I put out. Somebody
okay.
else had I think the one champs, I think might have been the Star Ledger potentially, but they didn't get on the field and pass them out because they didn't have like an inside guy to do the job like I did. I mean, look at it. Well, I'm showing John now. Look at this. Diassi. There's a whole bunch of them.
Diassi, I seen that one.
Yeah,
They're all
There was
Diassi.
one with Diassi,
That's the only one.
there was one with Tumor. I seen one with Jay Alford.
Yeah.
Just,
I don't know.
and
Oh, I know why it's all Diassi, because I just put Diassi in the Google search.
Well, yeah,
That's
that
why.
would be the reason.
That would be the reason
Yeah,
why.
that's how Google works.
Isn't that amazing?
All these fancy computerized searches, man. It's
Yeah,
tough.
I know, for sure.
Right. Jay Alford was 96, right? Yeah, I see one with where he has the Giants
No,
win one.
96 was Cofield, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, Barry
no,
Cofield.
Yeah,
My fault.
Cofield was
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
96 was
Nice.
Cofield. Yep.
Yeah. So I called to it was Mother's Day yesterday.
Champs
and,
was 20. That's the next Super Bowl.
Yeah, Champs was 2011. Yep.
Yeah, that was Indianapolis.
okay.
By that point, I was no longer at the paper, so I didn't care what
Well,
they did.
I mean,
Well, you weren't still
But
at the paper
Toomer
in
wasn't on
2011?
that. That's what I'm saying. Toomer wasn't on that team. That's the picture. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at it right now. I guess Toomer's holding the paper that says champs on it with confetti in the background. So.
Oh well, you know what? That was at the parade, I think, maybe instead of on the field after the game.
Could be.
Anyway, James,
So,
what
you know,
you
got his
you know what? I was at the paper, but I didn't do any work off the Super Bowl.
I thought you were still at the paper.
I was
at
still.
11. Yeah,
I was
okay.
still. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So Mother's Day, you got ESPN on in the garage, and I hear a story going on, and you know, I hear the name Theo Johnson. I look up, I'm like, I think I know that guy, you know, and I just, you know, after hearing the interviews and everything, and seeing this kid has a 30 for 30 on himself, you know, because he had a rough life and has a background story, and sometimes, you know, the kids that have I don't want to say the background story, the rough background story, anything like that, but they all seem like the type of guys that will run through a brick wall for this team, basically. You know what I mean? When you hear them talk and you hear the interviews that they did and how they were brought up and, you know, what his mother did.
Yeah, Theo Johnson, one of five. Yeah, one of five brothers, and his mom got him out of a pretty rough situation. And yeah, he actually spoke pretty glowingly about his mother over the weekend when he was asked about Mother's Day.
The whole group is pretty impressive, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So like I said, I would listen to you guys. I like the class. Like I said, these guys all seem hungry, like they really want it. And that's kind of what you need for building blocks on your team. I'm gonna let you go on this one. I know you was doing a show the other day, John, about the Marvel superheroes or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think I tweeted you some pretty good ones. And for some reason last night, you know, watching the damn Knicks game, I thought of another one. If you put, it's a little bit of a stretch, but if you put Wandale Robinson as Ant-Man, because you know, he's small regularly, right?
That's not
but
bad.
The way he gets open,
It's
man,
good.
he looks 10 feet tall when he's wide open. And you could throw it to him in small windows; he'll still come up with it because he can shrink really small. You know,
That's not bad, James. That's
It's
not
very
bad.
good. I like it. By the way,
Appreciate the call, man. Good stuff, James.
Tibbs did a charity event for some kids on Friday. Steve Serby of the New York Post was there and wrote a column on it.
This is Kayvon Thibodeau you're talking about?
Kayvon
Okay.
Thibodeau. And on Saturday it appeared, and wouldn't you know it, the lead to the item is that Kayvon Thibodeau is Black Panther. So we don't have to ask him. We now know what he is. He is Black Panther, and Burns is Spidey.
Was he asked that? Like, what was the context of it?
That was I'm guessing Serby listened to the show, because the lead to his column was all about Brian Burns is Spidey and what is Kayvon Thibodeau going to be. And so he asked
Did he
him.
really?
Yeah. I think Serb was listening to the show, because that was the whole lead to the column.
Oh,
was
that's funny.
about which Marvel character is he going to be, and he said he Black Panther.
And that I believe that was your prediction, right, Pearson? Is that he would want that moniker?
Yeah,
I'm
Pearson,
okay with that.
Pearson.
I'm fine with that.
And so I will tip my cap, but he is Black Panther. That's it. You got it.
All right. So I guess you don't have to have that one-on-one exclusive.
Don't
in the
have to
locker room
now.
which
Don't
is
have
great.
to now. No. That's it. Look, I happen to like Iron Man, but Black Panther actually fits very well.
Well, you have to find someone else to be Iron Man now.
Well, I mean, Okereke could be, because he didn't miss a snap.
You know what's funny? Do you like and Leanne? Well, you know, I don't want to get into it because we'll do a whole show on this with SciTech at some point. But I had a little rethinking of Dexter. I have two options. I don't know which one is better. Anyway, we'll get to it.
I think Hulk is Dexter.
I think. How about the Thing from the Fantastic Four? Pretty good too.
Either one.
Well, I know either one. I said we got to pick one. Those are the two. Because the Thing has a really gregarious.
It's clobbering time.
He has a big gregarious personality.
Yes.
You know.
Okay.
So I those are kind of like the two things I was trying to figure out which one I like better. But
All
that's
right.
it. Anyway, 201-939-4513. Let's go to Wilson and Roxbury. Hi, Wilson.
Hey, Johnny, Paulie, how are you?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, listen, before I get to my Daniel point, Johnny, listen, that three-pointer from half court, that kind of changed the whole series, and I think the Knicks are in trouble. because it brought the Pacers back from the dead. If they don't make that three, I think the Knicks win.
Remember, it was a tie game when he shot the three. So if he misses it, the Knicks still have to score there to
the
win.
Knicks would have scored. The Knicks would have scored. You could tell. You could see it. The Knicks would have scored.
I feel the same way, to be honest.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah. It's like, and I think they're in trouble now. Not only physically, but I think emotionally. It was like I don't think they recovered from that 3-pointer.
Wilson, I've got to be honest with you. This team's really resilient. I know they got blown out the next game. You take that game, you throw it out. They will play their rear ends off in Game 5. They might not win, but they will play their rear ends off.
I know, but forget about the Knicks. It brought the Pacers back from the dead.
That's true. Absolutely, 100%.
There's no doubt.
No, 100% accurate. Yes.
And if the Knicks do lose the series, that shot will be the turning point.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Paulie, without a doubt.
Yep.
That's without a doubt.
Now remember remember this too. Knicks caught a lot of breaks at the end of Game 1. Pacers caught some breaks in the Game 3.
I know.
And now you're 2-2, and you got a 3-game series, 2 at home. Try to win the series.
Win your home games.
I know. It was just like a dagger. Like I never seen a dagger like that in a long time.
No, I'm with you.
Anyway. So listen. So I know that every. I mean, you got calls some. These people that work for the Ringer or they work for the Athletic or they're for CBS Sports. Those are pretty reputable. Sites for sports. But some of these people that write there, I mean, they're morons. There's no other way to call some of these people that write stuff like this because when you write stuff, you got to have some kind of context and some kind of perimeter or whatever how you're writing because, at the end of the day, you are a professional. For some moron, right, to write down that Daniel Jones is the 32nd worst starting quarterback in the NFL, even though you're just writing stuff for the hell of it, it's an insult to guys like yourself that work in the same profession. I mean, to have Daniel Jones behind J.J. McCarthy, Jane Daniels, Caleb Williams, some of these kids that never threw a pass.
Oh, and Wilson, that frankly, in my opinion, wasn't even the worst of it. He was behind Gardner Minshew on the list.
I mean, right, right. Which is, I understand that you can write whatever the hell you want. But Jesus, it's got to have some kind of content, though. I mean,
Wilson, Lance and I always try to give you this advice, man. Don't let these other guys that do national stuff writing about your team bother you. They're not close to it. They don't know. They're doing the best they can. They're looking for clicks. Don't let this stuff bother you.
No, it doesn't bother me. Johnny, I tell you the truth, though. I mean, I'm in the wrong business, man, because, I say crazy stuff all the time.
Okay.
Listen, man, you know what, man?
Hey.
Hot take Wilson, baby.
Big point for honesty, Wilson. Very big point for honesty.
Hey, listen, Johnny, you got to help me out, man, because the other day I saw you guys have a spot in Spanish. You got to get me in there, Johnny. I mean, listen, either they throw me out in 20 minutes or I'm a hit. I don't have a middle ground. But
hey, no, Wilson, look, Wilson, next time you call in, Pearson does a lot of work on the Spanish podcast. You'll have to sweet talk Pearson, and then maybe he can get you in there, okay?
Hey, listen. Johnny, that'd be like my number one bucket list.
Okay.
That'd be great. But listen, you know what? All kidding aside, this is why John Mara loves Daniel, and this is why Daniel is perfect for New York because Daniel's still a kid. What is he? 25, 26, 27? He's not 27, is he?
I think he might be turning 27.
We'll
year.
check.
I will double check
okay.
that though.
Hey, but he's still a kid.
26.
But some other quarterbacks.
Turns 27
in 2 weeks.
That was right.
All right. So, Paulie, let me ask something. Some other guy, right, that has a short fuse, he'll be writing and writing stuff on Twitter. These guys don't know what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? But he can. I'm sure it bothers him, but he keeps it personal, and he doesn't embarrass himself or the organization. He just keeps it separate, and that's what makes him. Some other kid wouldn't be able to handle all this crazy stuff that they say
Wilson,
about him.
his demeanor is a lot like Eli's was, and that's one of the main reasons why Eli was able to do what he did and put up a Hall of Fame career, because he didn't react to the outside noise, and Daniel's not going to do it either.
Right. Now, some people still think that Eli Manning was lucky to win 2 Super Bowls and he doesn't deserve to be in the NFL. I mean, moronic stuff. But that's why John Mara loves him, and I think he's perfect. And I'm hoping that he's got a great season, so he shuts a lot of these people off. Because at the end of the day, even though it's just stuff that people write, I mean, there's no content whatsoever. That's what I'm saying. And I know, I don't know why you guys feel, because you guys are in the business. I'm just a fan, but. Does it bother you guys when people just say stuff like that? And thanks again for listening, guys. And Johnny, make that phone call for me. I love you.
Okay, appreciate it, Wilson. I mean, if you really wanted a hot take show, I mean, it would take Pearson probably 2 hours to edit the thing every time they did it. You would put Wilson and Charlie on a 2-man podcast together.
My.
See how that goes.
They should just stick to the Twitter Spaces.
No, I think the best one, you would have Wilson speaking in Spanish and then Charlie talking in English. Neither one would listen to each other. And they yell at each other.
At least I can understand the Boston accent.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow. Woo. Interesting call, Wilson.
And look, I saw this thing last week. I debated whether or not to bring it up on the show because I thought it was
nothing to do with it.
Because I thought it was just didn't make a whole lot of sense, to be totally honest with you. Like, Will Levis is 22nd on this list. And look, I was a bigger Will Levis fan than most people last year, but based on what he did last year, he's 22nd. He's like 5 spots ahead of Derek Carr. And say what you want about Derek Carr, I mean, he's made playoffs before. His teams are around 500.
Stuff like that is simply off-season content.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. Okay? Which you might as well go to the supermarket, open up a can of Spam, and spread that on a piece of bread, because that's about what it's worth.
And I wanted to look at the rankings and try to give the benefit of the doubt a little bit. All right, well, maybe the reason they put him 32nd is because of the injuries, right? That you just can't trust him to stay healthy. And then I looked at the caption, and there was no mention of injuries. So I'm like, I'd give up. I just didn't want to spend a lot of time on it. So,
I'm with you.
201-939-4513. Hey, folks, it is the Giants' 100th season. Do you want to go to some of these games? Well, in order to do it, because it's tough to get single-game seats. Sometimes they're available, sometimes they're not. The best way to guarantee you'll get to go to some of these 100th-season games is to become a Giants season ticket member. Take your fan to the next level with the season ticket membership. Stay connected to the club all year round, not just on game days. Memberships are now available for the 2024 season. To learn more about all the exclusive member benefits, visit giants.com/tickets. Limited inventory is available. And while you're there, folks, all this 100th season content, it's going to be on Giants TV, the Giants' official connected TV streaming app. Giants TV brings original video content and game highlights on demand and direct to Big Blue fans. Giants TV is free on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, the Giants mobile app, smart TVs everywhere, you name it. Go check it out. 201-939-4513. 201-939-4513. Roy in Charleston wants to talk about the 100th. Roy, what's going on?
What a great-looking logo. What an amazing video.
Isn't it great? Seriously,
wow.
It's really cool.
Wow. It's amazing. I mean, it's done so well to bring the entire 100th history of this franchise. It was just, I've watched it about a half dozen times, trying to pick out things. There's so much in there. It's wonderfully done. And I just can't tell you how wonderful the staff did on this. I mean,
thank you, Roy. I will pass that on to the folks that put a lot of work into it.
Truly remarkable. And Wilson, Wilson is self-aware. That's pretty awesome.
It is awesome. I agree.
More callers should be a little self-aware.
No, yeah, and Roy, real quick, I'll say this, and Charlie too, and Wilson. They have strong opinions. They yell. We get irritated with it sometimes. You go back and forth. They're good guys, and they're fun. They love the team, and they say things with a smile. And neither one of those guys takes themselves too seriously, which is why it works. Just for the record.
All in fans make the wheel turn.
It's all fun.
That's what's the best part
Football's
about those guys.
Supposed to be fun. Absolutely.
I completely agree. And I was going to mention about Daniel Jones being on that list. I mean, really, we've got Robinson. We've got Wendell coming back off of his ACL. We've got some players that we had last year that were just coming back off of injury, the draft, some of the free agents we signed, and if Daniel can heal completely and come back, I think first of all, he's our quarterback, so we should support him anyway, but I really think that we've got a good chance of having a good year this year. And I think this is, with so many opportunities, with so many players that will give so many opportunities. And I think you mentioned it, Paul, that this is going to be a passing team. Because Brian wants to he wants to pass this ball, and I think with between Theodore and between Belton, is it Belton or our other tight end?
He's talking about Theo Johnson.
Theo Johnson, yeah.
Theo Johnson, thank you. And I think we've got some. I think we have a much better chance, especially and I think Daniel's got a great accuracy, and I think he proved that a year ago. So I'm excited about this upcoming season. Of course, I'm not going to say the word that begins with H and ends with TH. So, but if everybody remains
the
strong,
opposite of injury. That's okay.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
I got it.
That's
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Took me a second there.
That's okay. I knew Paul would get it.
I was pretty good at game shows as a kid, John. It's okay.
Well, not to mention that we've talked about that many a times. I've heard you talk about it many times. Anyway, so I feel good about the season, and living in Charleston, I'm trying to figure out which game I want to get. I can't be a season ticket, but I'm sure I'm going to get a couple of single tickets, and my wife and I come up north and try to get to one of these games. So
awesome.
So go Big Blue this year, all right?
Thanks, Roy. Appreciate it, man.
Hey, John, good chance to remind everybody. The league officially did put out that the schedule is coming out 8 o'clock
Took the word right out of my mouth.
Right, Eastern time on Thursday.
We already got one today. The first game of the year will be on that Thursday night. Chiefs and Ravens. Not a bad way to open the season.
September 5th.
The Thursday before, the Thursday after Labor Day.
So
day that happens to
for
be.
all of you people out there who love to quote sources in breaking news, we can say sources say breaking news, Ravens Chiefs on Thursday, September 5th, which means we know for sure the Giants will not open with the Baltimore Ravens in Week 1.
That's a good point. You're right.
Also, just a heads up, it's 8 p.m. on Wednesday.
Yeah. What did Paul say?
Thursday.
It says.
No, the game is Thursday, September 5th. The schedule will be announced on Wednesday night at 8 p.m.
I'm sorry.
And that morning, we're supposed to get the international games, my understanding, based on reports that I've seen released.
Okay.
So if the Giants are going international, we might know that on Wednesday morning. And, folks, this is also a public service announcement. Beware fake schedules. We had somebody this morning, a buddy sent me, the Patriots had their schedules leaked, and they're the Patriots playing the Jaguars in London on Monday Night Football.
No. Are you kidding me?
Now, for those that don't understand time zones, if the Patriots were to play the Jaguars on Monday Night Football in England, and it started, even if they did an earlier start time, let's say they moved up to 7:20 U.S. time, it would be starting at 12:20 a.m. in London.
Oh, God.
I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but something tells me they're probably not going to start an NFL game after midnight in London.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying that's probably not going to happen.
Good catch, Pearson, by the way. I was thinking Thursday because that's the opening game. That's not the schedule release. Schedule release is the 15th, which is Wednesday.
All right,
Yes.
let's go to
Thank you.
Hugo in New Jersey. He will wrap us up today. Hey, Hugo, how are you?
Hey, guys. Good afternoon.
Hey.
I'd like to start off by echoing Roy's comments about the logo and the way the rollout is done. I'm sure a lot of people put in a lot of work to get this to such an exceptional level, and it really is excellent. I was glad to see that the Giant Man made it into the logo. I asked for that. I'm sure they were listening to me, by the way. Wink, wink. But I asked for that going back to last summer, you might recall. But no, it's just beautifully done and has a lot of symbolism in it. So I think it's really great.
Thank you.
And looking forward to everything else that's going to go on this year on the 100th anniversary. I want to talk since you guys did the rollout today. I'd like to talk a little Giant history. And John, I did catch your bracket video with Bob Papa. And my initial thought was that eventually, when fans vote, they will gravitate towards offensive plays one of my favorite.
Yeah, I would say
plays
offensive plays, Hugo, and then more recent plays as well is probably where fans are going to migrate.
Yeah. One of my favorite plays in Giant history is a defensive play, and it's the 1990 NFC Championship game. The Niners were running out the clock.
Eric Howard and Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, because that involved two players in a pressure-packed situation and led directly to the win, because then the Giants got some decent field position, drove it down, and Matt Barr kicked the field goal.
I don't think Pierce said I'm breaking any rules, or am I? That play will likely appear on a bracket in sometime in the next few weeks.
Yeah. Well, that's a very important play in Giant history.
Yes.
And,
without a doubt.
My favorite round of all the drafts was 1986. The Giants, and I want to ask Paul a question about this because it's a little bit unclear to me. The Giants had 4 second-round picks, and you mentioned Eric Howard. Eric Howard was one of those guys.
Pepper Johnson.
And Mark Collins.
Correct. Yeah.
How'd they get 4 second-round picks that year?
They had 3.
No, there was a fourth. There was a safety from Arkansas, Greg Lassiter.
Oh, Greg Lassiter. Yes.
Who wasn't?
He was only with us a few years. He wasn't very good.
No, that's right.
That's why I forget about him. He's a non-entity. Go ahead.
That's not very nice.
Well, compared to the other 3.
Once a Giant, always a Giant.
You're
Greg
right.
Lassiter,
okay.
Come on.
No, Greg Lassiter.
Whoever it is.
Yes. You're right.
But 3 out of 4 were Pro Bowl caliber players.
Yes.
And Paul, the question to you is, how did we get 4 second-round picks? I remember, was there a Mark Haynes trade to the Broncos?
Correct. Correct.
Okay, so I think we got a couple.
They traded Haynes to the Denver Broncos. They traded the rights to Gary Zimmerman, who they had acquired in the USFL dispersal draft, and the rights to Zimmerman went to Minnesota.
Did he not want to come to New York or something like that?
No.
Is that why they had to trade him?
He did not want to play here.
Great player.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so there's my 2 cents on a little bit of Giants history.
No, that's a good one.
I'll think of stuff throughout the year and bring it up from time.
No, that's fantastic.
Okay, take
Good
care
stuff.
of yourself.
No, excellent. 201-939-4513. Pierce, you want to squeeze in one more? Oh, no, they hung up, so I guess we're not going to squeeze in one more. But, so the schedule will be Wednesday night. We will have a Giants Huddle podcast reacting to that. That'll get posted on that day as well, reacting to that schedule release. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
Yeah, I think what's going to be really interesting, John, is as we noticed last year, the travel. The Giants did have that one double-up trip with Arizona and San Francisco. I don't think they'll have any double-ups in this schedule.
Well, yeah, they're not playing the NFC West this year,
No.
so it makes sense.
So no reason for that, although there is that one long trip to Seattle.
Yeah, there's just no other long trips besides that one. I was actually talking to a friend who I know lives in Minnesota, and he's like, well, you guys come in Minnesota this year? I go, no, Minnesota's coming here. And I go, the closest we really get to you guys in Minnesota is Cleveland. Like, that's the furthest west, other than Seattle.
Right.
That's the furthest west the Giants go, playing the NFC South and the AFC North. So, yeah, the schedule in terms of travel is not nearly as arduous as it was last year.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And, hey, however it breaks down, the bottom line is you got to play it, and no matter how much you like it or don't like it, that's what's in front of you, and that's what the coach is going to say. We got to play the schedule because no one's going to change it now. Once it comes out, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, 100%. Again, folks, go to Giants.com/100 to check out all of the great stuff the Giants are doing in terms of their 100th season celebration. Make sure you go check that out and go vote in the Giants' greatest play bracket. You can find the link to that in the podcast. Going through the different plays can be found on Giants.com/podcast. On the Giants Huddle podcast, make sure you go find that and subscribe. All right, Paul, we got a week here where we don't have much else going on in the field except for OTAs, which begin on Monday. So this is, I think, an interesting period, and we'll close with this, where I think the young guys now, it's a very important week for them, for the rookies, to not have to worry about being on the field, but they're in the meetings. You have to catch up on all the installation that's happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and you have to go back, go over the stuff that your veteran teammates have done already, and try to catch up and get up to speed with where the vets are.
Yeah, look, the film work and the book work is incredibly important right now because the one thing that they want to see when these guys all convene together for the actual minicamp, the mandatory minicamp, which is coming up in a few weeks, they want to be able to see when you guys get on the field, don't look lost. That's the number one priority. Don't come out onto the field when everybody's going to be out here together. We're going to try to run some plays and stuff. Don't look lost. If you're lining up in the wrong spot, you don't know where to go, you look very unsure of yourself, that is a big red flag to every one of these coaches. That's the last thing you want.
Means you didn't do your work.
Exactly.
And the extra work you need to do to be ready to play.
Yep.
I'm with you. All right, well, end early today. Why not? Thanks for being with us, everybody, on Big Blue Kickoff Live, presented by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Football Giants. For Pearson, doing a great job on the controls. For Paul Dottino, I am John Schmelk. We'll see you next time on Big Blue Kickoff Live. Have a good one, everybody.